Today, we are going to talk all about river bass fishing and how to find fish on a river by going to a pool of the river that I haven't fished in years to see if we can catch over 8 pounds of bass, which is the typical tournament winning weight here. Throughout the day, we are going to share all of my river fishing knowledge by taking you spot to spot throughout the day and breaking down how and where to find the bass, the current conditions that we have and how to adjust to them based on the current conditions as they change throughout the day, how to fish these areas and pattern fish based on the clues that they give us, and also the bait selections that we're using throughout the day and how we change our baits based on the spot or condition. Can we put all the clues together and catch a winning bag of fish? Stay tuned to the end of the video to find out. So we started off the morning with some overcast conditions and some light wind. Looking at the forecast for later in the day, I saw that the winds were going to get up to 20 to 25 miles per hour. So I wanted to try and see if I could get on a topwater bite early before the wind picked up and I had to adjust my bait selection. The first thing we did was head down the river to a high percentage area that I always like to fish on river systems, which is where a tributary comes in. So we started on a creek mouth that looks just like this. The reason these are so effective in the post spawn, we had mid 70 water temperatures. These fish will spawn up in these creek mouths and then work their way back down to the main lake. At the same time, you will have a shad spawn that occurs, and the shad and bait fish will all come get this fresh water. They always look for fresh incoming water. They will come up to the same areas, creating an area where these fish will meet in the middle. So they will hang around the outsides of these creek mouths and ambush bait fish by pushing them up onto the point and catching bait fish there, and it's an all-you-can-eat buffet for these fish. So thinking that would be a high percentage area, that was one of the first places we started. Rolled down there with a popper to see what we could find. Okay, so when I start on a place like this, I always want to come downstream and work up, almost always in the rivers. That's very important. That's going to get you more bites because it's going to make your bait come naturally through the water. And then I'm going to work my way up through here, up to that creek mouth. There could be fish kind of scattered anywhere through here. After spending 15 to 20 minutes on this first creek mouth, I realized that there was one thing missing from this creek mouth, and that is bait. There would be no post-spawn fish here if there was no bait. That is one of the biggest keys in finding fish, not only in river systems, but especially post-spawn fish in general. So I decided to go run some other high percentage creek mouths areas because one could have all the bait one day and the one right across the river from it could have no bait. So I decided to start running some of these creek mouths to determine if there were any other ones that potentially had bait and the other right ingredients to contain some fish. After jumping through quite a few of these creek mouths, I quickly realized that none of these had bait, and I did not know where to go next. After sitting down and taking a look at my maps, I realized that there was a much larger major tributary dumping into the river up above from where I was. So I decided to make a move up to there thinking that even more fresh incoming water could potentially equal where all the bait fish were stacked up. And if there were bait fish at the mouth of the tributary, I could even take a chance of going up the tributary to see if there were still post-spawn fish that were up in this secondary river that haven't made their way back to the main river yet. So I made a move up to this riprap wall that was leading into the mouth of this river, decided to fish through that for about 15 minutes, but what I quickly realized was the water was extremely dirty at the mouth of this river. We had a bunch of rain come through overnight, and what I didn't expect is some of these creeks to actually blow out and start pumping mud into the river, which will quickly ruin a fishing spot. Especially with river bass, they do not like muddy water. They do not like the heavy, dirty water coming down in, so they will leave that area, and that is why I was finding no bait. So after fishing through this riprap wall, I decided to test a theory and go across the mouth of the river where the current would be pushing the muddy water downstream and cleaner water coming from the main river would be coming from the upstream side to see if the water was any clearer and if there was any bait. Going directly across the river, I quickly noticed that the water was significantly cleaner than what the water was on the other side, and it was also loaded with bait. However, there were no fish in this area, or they just did not like my popper at the time. We fished through here with a popper and a square bill crankbait and did not get any bites, but it had the right ingredients, and I started to clue myself a little bit closer to what I needed to do to catch some fish. So we're about 2 hours in so far, and I haven't caught anything yet, but I've narrowed down that some of the river below this main tributary would not be effective today because of the muddy water coming down from it. And I decided to make and stay up above this tributary the rest of the day to try and figure out fish. So I've quickly eliminated a lot of water. From there, I decided to go back to the creek mouth deal to see if I could find another one loaded with bait that potentially could have some fish on it. And after jumping 2 or 3 more creek mouths and getting about 3 hours into the day so far, I still had 0 fish. At this point, I have realized that the creek mouth deal was not going to play today. For whatever reason, the bait fish were not around or the bass weren't around to chase the bait fish that were there. So we had to change up our approach. With the wind coming in much stronger now and starting to pick up throughout the day, I made a switch from topwater to a chatterbait to try and get my bait down in the water a little bit and maybe put off that vibration in that slightly dirtier water to maybe catch some fish. I also decided to make my way upstream towards the dam to try and find some stronger current that might make these fish more predictable than the slower current I've been fishing in. A lot of times when you have slower current, those fish will scatter out in the river, but when you have strong current, those fish will have to tuck behind something, making them more predictable on each one of your casts. On the way up to the dam, I quickly realized a spot that looked just like this, and I saw a point that stuck out into the river, which could potentially increase the current flow on the front side and on the back side, create a current break. Exactly what I was looking for these fish to hide in. They would tuck behind some of these current break items and sit there to hold tight because the river current was too strong for them to leave those areas where they could scatter out in some of those other places I had been fishing so far. So we pulled up to this spot here and decided to give it a try. So we made a quick move. Oh, I got one, and it's a giant. I was literally burning that in. What? That's crazy. I was ripping that. I hope you guys saw how fast I was actually reeling that in. That's keeper number 1. We just made, I'm so excited. That got me all pumped up. 1.19, that's a good one down here. It's a good start towards our 8 pounds. One of the ones we're looking for. Look at that guy. See you, buddy. Okay, so just to recap real fast, we made a move up the river. I got sick of fishing those creek mouths. It just was not working out. For whatever reason, the bait's not there, the bass aren't there. I really don't know why they aren't there, but like I talked about, sometimes they stage up there, sometimes they don't. It really just depends. When they're done post-spawn, they come down the creeks, do all that kind of stuff that we had talked about. But as I was coming down here, I noticed this long vertical wall that ends right here and cuts into a big flat that runs up right here. So I figured, one, you're gonna have quicker current because the river's starting to pinch down, so that current's gonna come a little quicker through here, and you're gonna have a big flat that should have grass, maybe some bait, could be some fish on it. There are fish on it, we just found out. How many? I don't know, we're about to find out. So what we're gonna do is just try and cover some water with the chatterbait and see if we can get some more to bite, and maybe find some big ones along the way, or figure out what they're holding to. I don't know if it's a bait deal. It might have been I just picked up the right bait at the right time and put it in front of a fish that wanted it, but that was the first keeper, so we're gonna take that clue and kind of run with it for a little bit and see what happens, as opposed to the creek mouth deal. Another one. Okay, we're gonna run with this for a little bit, I think. Oh, he fell off, that's fine. I don't think he would have kept anyway. There's one. He made it in the boat. Woo! It's another big one too. We might have figured something out. 125. Okay, we got 2 decent ones now. We are gonna need a couple bigger ones than them, but we got 2 decent keepers. I'm going to continue to run with this. I think we might have found a little bit of a subtle pattern. It's not obvious yet of like, they have to be right here. It's a lot of just covering water. Because that fish was literally on nothing. There's not a stump there, there's not anything there. That fish was just there. I think there was some bait around. Never mind, there might be a reason these fish are here. Oh my gosh, crazy. I don't know if he's gonna keep. This one we're definitely gonna have to get rid of at some point today, a 0.85. This is the bait right here. This is a 1/2 ounce Pearl Z-Man Mini Max chatterbait. And then I have a Pearl, yet to be released, Busa Ned rig on the back here. 3.3. I trimmed the skirt down and that little tail just quivers. It's a small profile. It looks like these small little bait fish. That's what these fish are feeding on in here. So I just tried to mimic it the best I could. Keep covering water and see how long it takes to catch us another one. I got another one. It's a decent one. I was getting ready to pull the plug and go find a new spot. Now we started to figure them out. This one feels large. That's because it is large. Oh, that's a good one. That is a good one for the Pittsburgh Rivers. Oh my gosh. Absolutely choked that chatterbait too. 134. We got one more fish to add, and then we'll be probably, I'm gonna be optimistic. I'm gonna say we're gonna catch a 1.5 and we'll be about 6 pounds, and then we'll have to do 2 pounds of upgrading, which is also very optimistic because that's basically an entire fish or two at the Pittsburgh River. That was another one. It was a little one. He was pecking at the tip. Got him that time. Oh my gosh, it's a good one. This is crazy. That is a good one. He came off too. I'm like not landing fish well right now. I'm just like so amped up that I just figured this out, because oh my gosh, are we destroying them. This is unheard of for the Pittsburgh Rivers. Like unheard of. I'm just like shaking like a leaf. Hey, I was optimistic. 1.69. That's a big one. That's a big one. He knocked like 1,000,000 feet of slack in the line. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. And look at that chatterbait, it's gone. 251. All right, I wanted to get that fish weighed and back in the water very quickly because she was bleeding a little bit because she ate it so deep. But we called up and we're officially at 8 pounds already. So that was crazy. We started right there. You can literally see the point over there. After running down this stretch of river and absolutely loading the boat, I realized that I might be on a little bit of a pattern here. However, it was only this one stretch so far that we were able to catch fish, and there were many variables in play on what was on this bank. There was rock, there was wood, there was grass, there was bait, a stronger current. It had everything that these fish could dream of. Could it have been just the perfect stretch? I'm not sure yet, so I decided to make a move finally up to the dam, which is where I wanted to go, to see if that stronger current would make this fish more predictable. After running up to the dam and catching only one small keeper, I realized that there was something else special about that stretch and I needed to go figure it out. So I returned back to the stretch that I started on here and made one more pass to try and determine what the key was. After making one pass through, I realized that the water was a little bit shallower and it had some flat bank to it that allowed this eelgrass to grow out further and more patchy to allow these fish to chase bait in and around all this eelgrass. After realizing that, I decided to run many more spots like this, but only came up with small keepers. I did not catch any more big fish chasing around some of these different banks that were in shallower water that had all this mix of ingredients. So trying to upgrade to catch one more big one for the day, I decided to make a move back down the river to another flat area that looked just like what we had started on, where there could be some stronger current, but it was just off the main river channel and potentially had the mix of all the right ingredients. That's big. Oh, he's not that big. Another 1.25 pound, 1.5 fish, but not gonna help us. I've been talking about it for some time of doing breakdown videos like this because I always go out on the weekends to fish and the first 4 hours of my day sucks, and then the second 4 hours are decent, and then the last 4 hours are amazing because I'm putting the pattern together because I only fish 1 day a week. So I thought about trying to put together some breakdown videos because I think that would be really cool. I've had some amazing days this year so far that literally haven't even made it on the channel because it wasn't the day or the bait that I was doing a video on or something like that. So as opposed to going out and trying to do a specific thing, I've been wanting to try and do like a breakdown video of just like my day on the water and how I'm dissecting the lake to figure out these fish. If you've liked the video so far, let me know if we should keep doing some breakdown videos. Maybe drop a comment down below what lake, your river, or whatever you'd like to see me go to next. I'm gonna start traveling and being able to do some of these, so wherever you'd like to see me go, I'll go try a brand new lake I've never been to if there's one that you like, and I'll go check it out. So drop that comment down below and let's see if we can catch us a big one here to end the day. Turtle. That was a fish. That's a fish. Oh my gosh, it's a big one. That's the one we were looking for. Oh my gosh. It's huge. Oh my gosh, this is crazy. Look at that smallmouth. Look at that smallmouth. This chatterbait has taken a beating today and we still have some stretch left. Look at that smallmouth. That is a beaut of the river. 321. Look at that thing. That's amazing. 1016 for our total right now. This has been amazing. This little chatterbait setup deal has been out of this world today, catching them up. All right guys, well that's gonna do it for the day. We fell a little bit short of our record day, but we smashed our goal, so it was an awesome day of fishing the river down here. I hope you guys enjoyed the breakdown style video, taking you through each of the spots, what I was doing, how I was catching these fish. Star of the show was this setup right here. This is my Icon chatterbait rod from Cashin. It's a 7-1 moderate fast, medium heavy. And then I had my Corrado MGL 7:1 gear ratio. That first fish we caught, we were absolutely burning this thing. 17-pound test fluorocarbon and the Z-Man Mini Max, 1/2 ounce in pearl with the new Busa Ned in the pearl platinum white there. Hasn't come out yet, but it will be soon. It's a great trailer. If you have the other colors already of Mini Max, try the Busa trailer. It was something that I kind of just tried on a whim today. I saw it sitting there in my garage and I was like, you know what, that would go really well on that bait. And it has an excellent action. I mean, that little tail quivers like crazy on the back, mimics these little bait fish perfectly. And we caught a ton of fish. It was an excellent day. So if you enjoyed it and you want to see all about chatterbait fishing, check this video out right here. I broke down all the different gear and everything you need to know in depth like we did today. Hit the like button down below and subscribe if you enjoyed it so you don't miss any more of my fishing videos.